to come. You're going to stay and say words of wisdom. Yes, you have to say. I was trying to convince Dr. McMillan to say what I'm going to say, but she said, you should go say it. So what I had said to her is, would she mind just stating how important the connection is between the work that she spoke about first and then that Dr. Wright and Dr. Tortorelli spoke about? Because we have to do both for kids, right? We have to be fighting for them to make sure that we are honoring who they are and we're celebrating their identities and we're making sure that they have a place and a space in our classrooms for themselves and their families and they're represented. And we also have to make sure that we give them the tools they need to be literate people. And to do that, we need to do the things that we know are supported by the research that was just presented to us, because if we don't, we're keeping that access from them too. So I was just really excited to see both these presentations together. And so now you're going to hear words of wisdom from these amazing researchers and some encouragement going forward. So I don't know the order you want to do that in, but words of wisdom.
Sure. I don't know if words of wisdom would exactly be it, but I just wanted to say that you're doing it. Like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like we're like, oh, it's so hard and all these things aren't working and the teachers aren't doing this and they don't know, and like we imagine we're comparing ourselves to some like imaginary standard where everything is, where the work is done. And then they wouldn't need us anymore, right? So remember that the place where it feels really messy, where you're working with teachers and supporting them in like all these, like fine-tuning all these practices, that is what we're supposed to be doing here. Like, it's not failure, that's success. That's what success feels like. And I don't know if you've seen the Barbie movie yet. Anyone see the Barbie movie? Yeah, I know most of us in this room identify as women, and identifying as women means always feeling like we're falling short. But in fact, that messy, hard feeling is a sign of success in so many endeavors, particularly in working with teachers. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for staying in this with us and for doing this work every day. And you're not failing. Sometimes feeling like you're failing is actually what success feels like. So thank you so much for all that you do for us and for our teachers and for the kids across the state.
Okay. So I think that something that we are celebrating or should be celebrating together right now is the hard work of having updated the essentials and then all of us learning together around these updates. When we first made the essentials way back, and I think we were working on it back in 2015 or so, and then we finally, it sort of got produced and shared in 2016, we said we would update every 7 years or something like that. I can't remember what we said we would do. And that's hard, and also COVID. So we didn't quite make our timeline. But I think it's really important to realize that when we make a document like this, even when we get a lot of stakeholders together and everybody's sharing their ideas, it's not going to be perfect ever. And we're going to learn more, and we're going to realize the things we should have said that we didn't, or we assumed people would know, but never assume. I think it's just really exciting to have this updated version. I know there's sometimes a feeling like, oh, we just learned the old version, now we have the new version, but I don't think it's that, right? I think it's exciting that we're always learning and growing together, and we're always trying to do better, and to try to do what we can to help our teachers, and in turn, most importantly, to support our kids' literacy development in Michigan. So thank you for all of your hard work. Hopefully you don't hit too much resistance with the new essentials, but hopefully we can get all of the teachers on board with saying that this document is sort of a yes and document. It's not canceling what we learned, right? It's adding on and maybe helping us to articulate some of the very important ideas about how we do our work that we didn't get to say before. So thank you, and looking forward to coaching camp next year. Woo, 24.
So I just want you to know how carefully planned we are, because every single day, Tanya and I have worn the same colors. And today, we are calling this Pattern Day. Notice. polka dots, stripes, a patterned shirt. So look, I hope you got the message. I see a lot of patterns out there, not so many polka dots, but I'm glad that we are all together in terms of our daily wear. So thank you, ladies. So before I give my words of wisdom or whatever, I would like to encourage you to join a research project that you may have already joined that you didn't know about. But we have been, for the last 20 years, looking at the role of reading specialists and specialized literacy professionals across the country. And in 2000 was the first time that we really conducted a survey, and it really just looked at reading specialists because there wasn't such a thing as literacy coaching per se in the area. And Dr. Rita Bean was one of the lead researchers on that study, and it was a survey. And then about 10 years later, Rita said, I think we need to change because literacy coaching has become so important. And so in 2014, we conducted a survey on specialized literacy professionals, which includes interventionists, reading specialists, coaches, supervisors of reading programs. And there were several articles published about it in the Reading Teacher and other places in about 2015-16. And this spring, so I joined the team, the research team, in 2014 with Dr. Rita Bean, Dr. J.C. Ippolito, and about 10 others of our most favorite friends. And together we did that research and wrote the articles. And now this year we're starting again. Dr. Rita Bean and Dr. J.C. Ippolito are the lead researchers on that team, and we've added some people. Dr. Dana Robertson, who I talked about yesterday, who talks about teacher agencies on the team. He's from Virginia Tech, because a lot of the early people were from the East Coast, and nothing against the East Coast. But you've got Pennsylvania, you've got Massachusetts, and lots of people on that area. So now we've added Dr. Robertson, who is actually at Virginia Tech on the East Coast, but came from the University of Wyoming. Dr. Bethany Pletcher, who's from Texas A&M, and the vice president of ILA, Dr. Helen Perkins, who's from the University of Memphis. And so, the main research team, the heads, have stayed the same across these 22 years. But we've added other people. Many of you in Michigan, hopefully, when the survey came out this spring and Aaron sent it to everybody, completed it. And we appreciate you being participants in that, because without you, we don't have any data to report on. And we had 2,500 people respond to the earlier 2015 survey, and we're trying to get that many again. But probably this fall, you're going to get an invitation to respond to that survey again. And if you did not fill it out in the spring, we really would appreciate you filling it out. I mean, Michigan could be a real star in this survey, right? So I just wanted to give that little shout out to becoming a participant in a survey that is going to be nationwide reported and gives us a real picture of how literacy coaching has moved from 2015 to today. So as we move further into how literacy coaching is developing, I just really want to focus on that whole idea of agency. I know yesterday we talked about teacher agency, about this autonomous actions, intentionality, reflectivity that we all are really going to be working on to help foster this year. But I think we also need to work on our own coach agency this year, so that we're not necessarily able to do a lot of autonomous actions, but we can do a lot of collaborative actions. and you know who you have to collaborate with in order to build the intentionality that is part of coach agency. So how do you work with people to build intentionality, to have a really clear focus on your work this year, and get others to agree to that focus with you? And then the reflectivity that you're going to need in order to analyze the work that you're doing. So I would say that this year, you're not just going to reflect on your work, but you're going to analyze and reflect analytically on your work, such as the way we did on our coaching conversation. So I'm challenging you really to go out and really try to build some collaborative actions in order for you to be intentional and to be even more reflective, more deeply reflective than you already are. And that way, you grow in your skills as coaches, you grow in your ability to help teachers, and you and teachers then together are growing in your ability to help students. So it's a good challenge and something for us all to think about. So I have totally enjoyed being here and seeing people face to face and realizing we all have legs again. And so I'm already looking forward to next August. So I hope to see you all here again.
My comments will be really short. I was able to prepare a really short word of encouragement because I took the time for everybody else to go first. So I just want to say to you, the word that's in my spirit is grace. Give yourselves grace. There are a lot of things that were discussed this week, a lot of things that you have to do. You have your own lives, and we want to recognize that it's important to do self-care. I'm about self-care. People who know me know that. And so allow yourselves time. Reflect upon things, figure out what you can do. If you need help, ask for help, but give yourselves grace. And then also extend it to others. And look for the good in others. That way, it's a lot easier to incorporate families, communities, work with students who may be difficult to work with. Look for the good. Everybody has some good in them. So look for the good and give yourselves grace and extend it to others. Thank you.
Get a picture. As always, since we started together in 2016, we would not be as strong as we are if we didn't have access to such brilliance. Could we please stand and thank our colleagues here on the stage for their scholarship and leadership. Speaking of scholarship and leadership, they don't know that I'm going to do this, but I need to name that Annie Spear and Dr. Laura Tortorelli have a chapter in a book coming out very soon. Is Annie here? Yes. Guilford Press, Word Study for Literacy Learners, Word Study for Literacy Leaders, Guiding Professional Learning. And their chapter is Support and Insight for Teachers of Young Children by our very own Annie Spear and Dr. Tortorelli. The scholarship and the leadership extends across our entire network, and we are so much better because of each other. So even though it feels like the end of the Institute and we have a really strong afternoon together, it was really important to be able to hear from them, and I hope that you feel gifted with handing back who you are from their perspective. You have just a couple announcements. We will have a full 45-minute lunch, so we will make sure that we give you that full time, and thank you for your patience. We have a theme kind of this week. It connects to cultivating and unearthing and the studies that we've been able to do together. If you think about your work and you think about even the connections that Dr. McMillan made this afternoon to gardening, into sustenance and nourishment, into our role as those gardeners in those deserts, whatever they might be, we hope that you feel supported to plant those seeds, to water them, and to get that microbiome of health for yourself deep in the soil that you plant yourself in, because then we can give it to others. If you know about the new science that came out about 10 years ago, trees talk to each other through fungus that connects their roots. Trees in a forest, if someone is suffering, can reach out through the fungus and support their neighbors. Science was blown, we're blown. It's true though. Fungus, while some of us are like, fungus, molds, yuck, fungus and the billions of microorganisms in soil are the only way for plants to actually take up any vitamins and nourishment. Plants do not survive in dead soil. So, that is what we are for each other, even when we're not physically together. We are not the fungus, no. We are the health. We are the vitamins for each other because it's hard work. So we have a gift for you, and we have to thank Liberty Fetz for this. She worked with Michigan, it's called M.I. Gardner, a Michigan gardener who sells seeds in St. Clair. And she worked with that company and got discounted seed packets for all of us. So they are at the registration table sometime this afternoon. Please do take, for your colleagues who aren't here, take a seed packet, do with it what you will. If you plant seeds, wonderful. Some of them you'll have to think about what time of the year you'll plant them. If you want to gift them, that's fine. If you want to just keep it as a reminder of what you plant and how you support and how you nourish those around you. So wanted to let you know about that, and also wanted to give Liberty so much gratitude for finding that and making that happen for us.